Okay, guys, so a question I keep getting from a lot of you that might not know any different or any better or whatever is people see my videos about mixing fuel and are constantly asking me what I think and what I use and blah, blah, blah. Well, a lot of gasoline questions. People ask, well, what ratios do I run for gas and oil for, say, a 1/5 scale two-stroke RC car? Well, all RC cars are two-stroke, but you know what I mean. Gasoline one. I run with 94 ethanol free, 94 octane ethanol free gasoline. I find it tunes better, plus it's just all around better. Ethanol destroys shit. It's just not good. And stick with like a high quality motocross oil, something like this stuff. This stuff is awesome. It's just kind of expensive. Or one of those. A lot of people say, well, what about just cheap old two-stroke oil? Well, sure, you can run that if you want. Won't hurt nothing. It's not as good as this stuff, but it'll work. But you want to stick with a high-end oil. You don't want to run shitty, cheap oil in your stuff. I mean, you wouldn't run shitty, cheap oil in your car you drive to work every day. You want to put something good in there. People go, well, I just got a 1/5 scale a gas RC car. Well, I should run like 116 octane in it, or leaded aviation fuel. Well, for one, the lead is terrible for you. And second of all, people don't understand how octane ratings work. So octane is a rating in your fuel that the higher you go, the higher the resistance to knock and detonation pre-ignition under compression and heat. So basically, when your piston's moving up, you want the fuel to be compressed and lit by the spark plug. You don't want it to be compressed and lit by compression, because then there's an explosion. You want the fuel to burn, not blow up. So a lot of people, like I said, don't understand the whole octane thing, and they think, oh man, if I go with 116 octane, man, my shit's gonna fly. Well, you got to remember, the higher the octane number it is, it takes longer to burn, so you can actually lengthen your burn time and decrease your performance. Unless you're running like 14 or 15 or 16 to 1 compression, you don't need it. 94 is the only octane grade I can get without ethanol here, so that's why I use it, and it pretty much lasts forever. So yeah, stick with a good quality oil like that, one of these right here, or whatever your favorite motocross oil is, and mix it like 32 or 40 to 1. You don't need to mix it like 16 to 1 and shit like that, like people think. If a chainsaw can, be 95 to 100 cc and stay in a cut wide open for minutes and minutes and minutes at a time, wide open, without blowing up at 50 to 1, your RC car, your 1/5 scale, is just a detuned version of that. It's basically just a glorified weed whacker engine. You don't need 20 to 1. I mean, for break-in, sure. After that, bump it to like 40 to 1 or something like that. You'll be fine. You won't blow anything up. Adjust your carburetor. Learn how tuning works. So that's the 1/5 scale questions. A lot of people think, or say, hey man, so I want to try out some 0% fuel, which or zero nitro, which is just 2 ingredients: it's methanol and castor oil. It's original glow fuel. Remember, there's no such thing as a nitro engine. They don't exist. So people go, well, this oil's really expensive. What's this going to stop a guy from going down to Canadian Tire, Walmart, and just picking up just a cheap little bottle of two-stroke oil and dumping that in my methanol and carrying on with my day? Won't work. Won't blend. That is alcohol. That is petroleum-based or gasoline. Different. If you tried to pour this or even this into there, if that was just straight methanol, it'll float to the top. It won't mix. So you just wasted your fuel. So if you are going to be experimenting, I know it's not cheap necessarily to get stuff like this, but get an oil like this that's specifically designed for methanol use. 2 and 4 stroke glow engines. Or the Super Technoplate's good for that too. This one will work also, as well as this one. And a lot of people ask, well, what about drugstore castor oil? Yeah, it works. It's not always the best. It gets really sticky and varnishy, and sometimes can have other chemicals in it that could be not so good for your engine. And people always ask, well, what mixtures do I run for oil content when making fuel? So for store-bought airplane fuel, I just get Morgan Fuels Omega 15, 17. So 15% nitro, 17% oil. That's what I like to run. Runs great. You can add extra castor oil to it for old junk like that stuff down here. Like these old engines, these old iron motors. Or that's usually what I run with. 20%, 10% oil. I don't go any higher than 12 with ABC engines. Obviously, I made a video about ABN engines. I run those about 16% oil and they're happy with added castor oil. So, let's see here. So with 0% nitro for RC cars, 90% methanol, 10% oil. 1090, there's plenty of oil there. That's 12.8 ounces per gallon or something like that. For airplanes, 80-20, it's just an easy number to run with. 20% oil for airplanes, absolutely perfectly fine. The tuning will be different. It's not always more cost effective. But again, need one of these kinds of oil that's specifically designed for methanol use. You can't use this shit. People ask me all the time, can I just maybe mix some RC fuel and some gasoline or some methanol and gasoline together and burn it in there? Well, they'll mix, but not very well. And as soon as you add your two-stroke oil in, the methanol will just go and sit on top. And if you shake it up, it'll just be like a fucking... It's like if you add vinegar to milk. It's just going to turn into cheese, basically. It's going to make a mess, and it's going to ruin your fuel and cost you a bunch of money, and yeah, don't do it. Run one or the other. Obviously not gasoline in there, because it won't work. Well, it will work, but it's not... the glow plug isn't... The platinum isn't the correct... what do you call it? Mixture of metals to want to ignite catalytically with gasoline, and yeah, no, it's just not worth it. Just run the correct shit if you can. Obviously, there is gasoline conversion kits and gasoline glow plugs. I've tried them. The gasoline spark ignitions work okay. But again, they also run hotter because they need to be tuned leaner. And yeah, it's just not really worth it, to be honest, in my opinion, unless for some reason like methanol is like super illegal or something where you live. I've also had people go, well, what about just putting some diesel in there for your old pickup truck? Well, it has a glow plug. Should run on diesel, right? No, will not run on diesel. These are not a diesel engine. These are a low compression two-stroke engine. Maybe only 8 or 9 to 1, something like that. I do have diesel airplane engines. You guys have seen those before. And those burn a mixture of ether and kerosene and a bunch of other shit. But that glow plug in there is a lot different from what your old Ford F-350 takes. The one in your old Ford diesel sticks in the cylinder head and warms up like a light bulb, just to warm the air in the cylinder to make it start easier. And then it turns off after that. The ones you get in here are platinum coated tungsten, and the platinum has a chemical reaction with methanol, which makes up the bulk of your RC fuel. So after you remove your igniter, it keeps burning. It'll keep burning pretty much forever as long as there's fuel there, or until the plug burns out. And that's why they're called glow engines, not nitro engines. And that's if you run them without an exhaust at all. It's really hard on them, like especially this style engine. You only see like what looks like a bright orange or dull lit flashlight, kind of like an orange glow like my clock right here, out the exhaust. So it's nothing really spectacular to see, although it kind of looks cool in the dark. But yeah, so no, diesel won't work. I get that question a lot. What about kerosene? No, won't work. Now, if you wanted to fart around, say you live in the States, I know a lot of you guys do, and you guys wanted to say you got an old engine, it doesn't really matter to you anymore, get yourself some oil. I know a lot of you guys love this stuff. And go get the yellow bottles of heat, H-E-E-T, heat, from your auto parts store. Get enough to make 1 quart of fuel. Add 4 ounces of oil to 1 quart. That will yield you 10%. And then you can try that out with a hot glow plug in your hot reach, or hot temperature rating glow plug. And you guys can muck around with that and try it out instead of wasting $40 in a gallon of methanol to find out you didn't like it. Same shit, different bottle, right? Anyway, so like I said, people keep asking the same questions. What about if I add WD-40 to nitro fuel or after an oil to nitro fuel? No, don't do that. You don't need to do that. It doesn't help anything anyways. There's no point. People ask what I use for after an oil. Again, just engine oil. That's it. Or air tool oil if I have it. But yeah, basically to clear that up for the 1/5 scale shit, stick with a high grade motocross oil like this stuff. about 32 or 40 to 1, something like that, you'll be absolutely fine. As far as these engines go here, if you can't get this stuff or you can't get that stuff, you can use drugstore castor oil or food grade. It just has to be completely pure. It can't have anything else in it. And be prepared for a lot of maintenance, because that should get sticky in a hurry. As far as adding 2-stroke oil like this to your nitro fuel, won't work. You're just going to have a lav lamp and be pissed off at yourself for doing it. So that's just the things I use. So again, 32 or 40 to 1 for the 1/5 scale stuff, 80/20 or 10/90 for 0%, 16% for ABN engines, 10% oil, or 12 or less for ABC, and 20 or 30% nitro is usually whatever I can get my hands on. And shit, this stuff's expensive right now. It's like $60 a gallon. And these are the oils I use. Obviously, this does not mix with nitro, so don't even think about it. That one, or that one, or Clot Super Technoplate with a red label. But just make sure, again, specifies blends with methanol, alcohol, or gasoline. Even says it right there. Glow engines, aka nitro. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out with these questions. And one more thing, people say, oh, can I just run my stuff on like rubbing alcohol and WD-40 and some afterburn oil mixed together? No, you can't. You'll just destroy your engine, so don't think about it. Do it the proper way. Avoid the issues. But there it is, guys. So hopefully that sorts that out for you guys. The questions that keep asked or getting asked over and over again about what oils and fuels I use and what percentages and all that other crap. Anyways, as always, guys, just watch my clock there. Thanks for watching. Keep on burning nitro. Or gasoline. Or something. Light something on fire and have fun with it. Anyways, later. Happy Friday.